Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started with this magical step I tell you about so often. So I'm using two brushes. They're both flat. They're craft brushes. I'm going to work with my edges. And I'm going to see where the edges connect with the subject. And I'm going to lift or scrub. Remember, we want to be gentle. We don't want to mar the paper. Everywhere where I've gotten too dark, you can see that the paper's starting to buckle now. But remember, we're not upset about that. We've talked so much about the edges. But down here, it's pretty light, and I got pretty dark. By working with the edges, we allow the subject to emerge. That is the strongest statement we can make in our work. We do not want silhouetted images. You know, sometimes I see things so differently each time I paint. But now I am looking for those edges. I am looking for those values, and now I can see them. Really, we cannot see everything from the get-go. We just can't. So, anyway, this is lighter right in here. Okay. I could even get a little lighter up here. But the flat craft, this is really soft, by the way. This is a Princeton Art and Brush Company. It's called a wash, and it's 1/2 inch. This is my favorite. This other one is a little harder, and it's bent too. Look at that. It's just a cheapo craft brush, but where you really have to catch an edge, it's the equivalent of a scrubber. It will mar the paper. So this is something you would do at the very end. Can you see how it's marring the paper right there? Okay, so all of this right through here, I'm going to add water with my round. This is the magic step, everybody. This is where you put the depth, the saturation, the three-dimensional into your work. To me, without this step, we don't go anywhere. I don't go anywhere. So just lightening up right down the center here. You can hear I am scrubbing, but it's gentle. It's gentle. Okay. And let's see where else. You know, this is all just fine over here. Okay, I want to work that edge. This is where the frisket was. This needs to soften up. And that edge needs to start to fade. And it's doing just that. I'm working elevated. All right, there's this beautiful place right here where the pink lady slipper connects to the background. All these edges are just amazing. So you have to start to see them, and I believe we're seeing them now as a group. It's just real soft where this tip of the lady slipper starts to meet the background or the environment. I even see a little bit of blue in here. Okay, there's an edge I really want to work with, right here. Remember, this is going to dry lighter. Okay, now here's a place I lost. Here's an edge. I'm pushing out. I'm pushing out. I'm going to push out up here. That's not dry. Right here. These little marks are left from the frisket. I love this step as much as I love putting the paint on. This to me is so relaxing. I really feel it's so creating. This is so creative. This is a place where I'm creating the lines and the imagery by taking away. I am subtracting. So with this harder brush, I'm going to push out this edge right here. And over here. I'm being gentle, but you can hear I'm scrubbing the paper. Okay, so doesn't that have a painterly effect? I'm so pleased. I don't know if I can scrub that off right there. Those little marks left by the frisket or not. Maybe it's there. I don't know. Okay, so I have a series of edges. So the rhythm is adding color. The magical step is subtracting. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Sam doesn't live in Houston. He lives in a suburb near Houston, but that's the airport. So those are the airport sounds. From the planes overhead. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can go back in and I can add color. Everything around here is pretty wet. Some brighter greens, I'm dotting them in. I'm trying to be very suggestive. All right, it's time to get these leaves in. Yes, see, this is still a little frisket right here. It's just a little bit of an adhesive that still needs to come off. Wish I had a rubber cement pickup with me because it would just come right off. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a nice light. We're gonna do a couple things. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix up my Viridian with my permanent yellow light to get that wonderful green. And I'm just gonna start putting it in. Right? Now I do see right in there, it's just a little, this is just a little bluer. A little bluer. So I am adding Prussian. Remember, water is your eraser. And you can adjust the color as you go. So I may have missed it. Let's see here. There we go. I'm not staying in the lines. And I do use lots of water. Okay, so that's my first pass, but I'm going to color correct before it dries. So over here, there are a couple places that are just kind of blue, and it's right here. That's pretty, isn't it? So that's Prussian blue. And here. And down toward the bottom, Prussian blue. And while I have the Prussian blue, I'm going to try to find it in other places on the painting. I'm going to add a little more right here. It could be a little more Viridian and not so much Prussian blue. So I'll decide when it dries if it clashes. I want to go back to these two marks. I put a brush, a brush, a brush. They were all the same, so I made this one different than this one. All right, let's see how the straight Viridian, maybe that's better than the Prussian. Yeah, okay, everybody, you can see Prussian right here, but go with the Viridian. So this is getting pretty wet. It's gonna have to dry, and we'll call this video finished. I want to bring the Viridian into I still like the blue right there. Do you hear the rooster, everyone? There's somebody here on the golf course, Sam says, has a rooster. And I hear that rooster all day long. Okay, things are starting to dry. I'm gonna stop. So what we have here are these lady slippers hiding in the forest. Everything is kind of camouflaged around them except these gorgeous blooms, and that's our goal, to keep them a wild thing. Okay, everybody, thanks.